Welcome to Proven and Probable. I'm Maurice Jackson, and joining us for a conversation is Sean Kunkun, the CEO of Dolly Varden Silver, which continues to advance one of the largest high-grade, undeveloped precious metal assets in BC's Golden Triangle, the Kitsault Valley Project. Mr. Kunkun, welcome back to the show.
Great to be on, Mr. Jackson.
Well, great to have you here today, as Dolly Varden Silver has just released the first results from its 2024 drill program, this time from the Moose and Chance veins. Before we get into the results, Mr. Kunkun, for someone new to Dolly Varden, please introduce us to the exciting opportunity your company presents to the market.
Thank you, Maurice. So what Dolly Varden is Dolly Varden represents one of the best undeveloped, high-grade precious metals opportunities in a safe jurisdiction. The company has a 64 million ounce silver resource in all categories and 1 million ounces of gold. If we express that in a silver equivalent, it's north of 140 million ounces of silver EQ. We're located in the prolific Golden Triangle in northwest BC, Canada, where we're around some of the richest and largest silver and gold mines in the world.
Well, let's go on site. Mr. Kunkun, take us into the Kitsault Valley Project, where your team is currently drilling and intersecting more high-grade mineralization. Beginning with the Moose vein, what can you share with us?
So, Maurice, this is a business that is valued based on how large and how high-grade our silver and gold mineralization is. And so our valuation is growing, our share price is moving up. And the reason for that is we're continuing to demonstrate growth through exploration and discovery. And it's one of the most low-cost ways for a mining company to grow. Most mining companies are forced to make very expensive acquisitions. And in our case, we're able to have that growth fostered through organic means. Now, we have a number of areas on the property I describe as our main sources of gravity for where the deposits are centered. One of those areas is in the south, and it is a historic area that was home to some of the richest silver mines in the world and some of the largest in the country. So we've got that rich history. We've got a significant resource in the ground, but what our highly skilled and successful exploration team has been able to do is understand a periodicity, a repeating pattern, and also they've got a really good handle on the geometry or the plunge of the mineralization. So what we're finding is we've got a number of deposits that occur approximately every mile along this 10-mile trend. So every mile cross-cutting this major trend is a new deposit, and these results demonstrate some new deposits found along this trend.
Now, in reference to that periodicity, it looks like there could be a potential of possibly more than 2 deposits there. Is that correct?
Well, right now we've got a total of 7 deposits that make up our mineral resource. And the news release that we put out last week talks about 2 deposits that are not part of our compliant resource estimate. So these represent new opportunities. So the Moose vein, where we intercepted over 3,000 grams per ton of silver, represents one of the new growth engines for Dolly Varden, as does the Chance vein. And what's really interesting about both these veins is if we start at Chance and we move 1.4 kilometers down, we hit Moose. And if we move it exactly another 1.4 kilometers down, we hit the Wolf deposit. And Wolf has been where we've seen the most significant growth over the last 12 months. Where we started with a small vein at surface, we now have a kilometer of strike length. And then another kilometer and a half away is the big Delbrook deposit, which is got about 35 million ounces of silver in the ground, and there's already been about 19 million ounces produced.
Now, are you seeing any parallels with the Moose and the Chance?
Well, what's really interesting, Maurice, is previous explorers had hit on, for example, chance. So back in 2019, before our management team had taken over the company, previous explorers had drilled a spectacular intercept, 488 grams of silver over 26.5 meters. But when they went to follow up on that discovery, they thought it was closed off or not open. Based on some exploration success we've had at the Kitsault vein, which is part of the Torbert resource, or the Wolf deposit, we understand that these veins are now plunging. And so what we've interpreted is there's a repeating pattern and a similar plunge of mineralization throughout the property. So we tried to apply that to Moose and to Chance, and I think the results speak for themselves. We were successful, and it's highly encouraging. Now, in addition to that exploration focus, we've got 3 rigs currently turning today at the Wolf deposit. So what we want to do there is we've had a lot of success and a lot of growth, and the deposit's still open in the northeast direction and the southwest direction, but we want to delineate a resource estimate from the Wolf deposit. We want to continue to grow it. And most excitingly, way ahead of schedule, in and around July 1st, we should have 1 rig travel up to Homestake, which is about 5 kilometers north, where we've got 1 million ounces of gold and 20 million ounces of silver. And we're going to follow up on an exciting new gold discovery we made last year, where the company drilled over 12 meters of over 79 grams of gold.
Oh, that's quite impressive, and I'm looking forward to the success from your team here. Now, before we leave the Kitsault project, in terms of news flow, when can shareholders expect to receive the next update on your drilling progress?
So if we look at the past, if we look at previous exploration campaigns, when the company is in an aggressive drill program, and I would describe 3 rigs that are turning 24 hours a day as aggressive, we could be putting out drill results on a monthly basis, sometimes, twice a month. So, just stay tuned. News can be imminent. And this has really been a big value driver of the company. The stock has gone up about 500% since the new management team has taken over. And a lot of that growth has been on the back of discovery. So, where I see us today is silver equities historically will trade between 40 cents an ounce in the ground up to $4 an ounce in the ground. Right now, we're trading at less than 50% of that valuation. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity to get revalued to that higher in situ value, number one. But what's really exciting for me, Maurice, is that we're multiplying that per ounce value by many more ounces. We've added about 100 million ounces of silver equivalent in recent years. And so, that is why the market cap today is 300 million. But based on where we see the ultimate value going for the project, which will be derived on a value per ounce, and where we see that growth potential, we see Dolly Varden having the potential to be $1 billion company.
You referenced aggressive. Last year, your team expanded the drill program with more meters. Is there any possibility that might occur on this program?
It has occurred every year in the last 4 years. I'd be surprised if we didn't.
I'm happy to hear that. All right, sir. In closing, sir, what's keeping you up at night that we don't know about?
That's a great question, Maurice. I've been blessed on this project where, we're nestled in a safe valley. We've got operators, contractors, employees, and consultants that have spent many, many hours on site. We've got one of the best camp managers in the business. We've got an excellent project manager and vice president of exploration. Normally, in previous years with previous companies, I'd be worried about the safety of my staff, and I'd be worried about staying on time and on budget. But this is just an incredible team. We've already drilled about 10,000 meters, and it's not even July. So the rate at which we're proceeding, which enables keeping the costs low, and we've had no safety incidents. It's been an incredible start to the season, and I hope that it continues in this manner.
Last question, sir. What did I forget to ask?
Look, Maurice, I think the only thing I'd add is we are at a historic moment in time where every asset under the sun is at record high prices, except for silver. Silver is trading at 60% of the value of its all-time highs. And with the supply constraints, with new demand, I think silver is poised to go to a new all-time high. And we've run some sensitivity analysis to silver equities, including Dolly Varden. And this is where, I think if we don't find another ounce of silver, this company can still be valued at $1 billion. I think we're going to find a lot more silver and gold on site. But I think the real opportunity is the world is underinvested in precious metals. And if you look at, Maurice, I look at what Canadian banks are doing. Canadian banks are shoring up their balance sheets. They're putting billions of dollars aside because they're expecting a housing crisis. We are in a recession. We've got record high debt levels, and we've seen one of the fastest rate rising cycles in history in the Western world. All of these are culminating into what I think is going to be an explosive summer for precious metals. I've gone on record in previous years where I've called for all-in opportunities. The price of silver has subsequently doubled, and I'm calling for another one. And so, this is I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been focused on studying precious metal trading activity. We're at a 75-to-1 silver to gold ratio. You got record high gold prices. It's telling me we're early in the bull market, and it's telling me it's time to go all in on silver.
Valuable insights. Thank you, sir. Mr. Kunkun, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Wishing you and Dolly Varden Silver the absolute best, sir.
Thanks, Maurice.